Hi, it's Nicole. Today's video is going to be a little trip to see Durham's own First Folio. Before we go, just a little update for you. I haven't been posting videos for about 2 months. I posted about 2 videos since the 1st of March, so I've been very inconsistent. Some of you know it's because I've been doing my assignments, my uni assignments. I filmed a essay writing vlog for the last 2 weeks of my essay writing, but I can't post that. I can't show you that until I get the marks of my essays back, because the essays are marked anonymously, which means the professors shouldn't know who wrote what. When we submit the essays, we don't put our names on our essays, so I think it would be quite obvious. Our professors, our seminar leaders know me well enough that they would recognize this is my essay. I think it's quite obvious. But just to be safe, I don't want to break the rules of the English department or of the university in general. So I can't show you that vlog just yet. I talked a lot about my writing process. I want to show you in a few weeks, in a few months time, depends on how fast my essay results come back. So please watch this space. So Durham's First Folio. Durham's First Folio has a very interesting history. It was purchased by a guy, and very important guy, called Bishop Cosin. So he was the bishop of Durham and the Northeast, I presume, in the 17th century. So he was a contemporary of Shakespeare, slightly later than Shakespeare. And he bought a copy of the First Folio as soon as it came out. So he was important, he was wealthy, he was one of the bishops. So he bought a copy of the First Folio almost immediately. So we know the First Folio was published in 1623/1624. We just celebrated its 400th anniversary last year. So it came out in 1624, and Bishop Cosin got his hands on a copy immediately in the 1620s. And it was in his possession, and it was in the possession of this library. He set up a library, not just for the First Folio, for a lot of the theological books, a lot of the scholarly works. And he built a beautiful, beautiful library. I think I took you there once in one of my vlogs previously. And it's quite funny, I don't know if you remember, each bookcase is dedicated to one author, and the author has a portrait of himself on the top of his case. And there's one space dedicated to Henry VIII. I just find that fascinating. You can see a little portrait of Henry VIII on top of that bit of the bookshelf. And obviously, the First Folio is one of the most important books in this collection, and it has stayed in this library ever since then, ever since the 17th century, all the way until 1998. Most of the First Folio get into different people's hands, generation by generation, but this one has stayed in Durham for centuries. What happened in 1998? Somebody walked in and took it off the shelf and just walked off with it. This was a era of trust and low security, I guess. Somebody could just walk into the library and took something off the shelf without anybody noticing, and kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth. And so it was a really sad occasion for Durham. amazingly, miraculously, 10 years later, this copy of the First Folio appeared in the US. It was handed to Folger Shakespeare Library, the Folger Shakespeare Library in the Washington, D.C. This is one of the places I really want to visit. And Folger has vast knowledge of just Shakespeare in general, and I think the Institute knows exactly each of the 200 something copies of the First Folio, exactly where they are, and they knew Durham's First Folio went missing, and they recognized it almost immediately. They did a lot of research, a lot of detective work, and they confirmed this was Durham's First Folio, and they returned it to Durham. It was discovered in 2008, and they returned it in 2010, I think. The First Folio came back to Durham. And before this month, if you go to Cosin Library, they will say, we have a First Folio in our storeroom, in our collection, but it's severely damaged and we can't show it to the public. And that's why I learned, since I heard about we have a First Folio ourselves. But from April 2025 to November, I think, there's a special exhibition on, because they restored the First Folio to a certain condition that it's now available for the public to go and see. It's so exciting. So today I went to Cosin's library again just to see the First Folio.
A guide.
Lovely, thank you.
The guide button will help you. The guide button.
So this is it, our own, Durham's own First Folio. Obviously you can see the cover is missing. It's quite sad to see it like this, but the conservators almost turned this into an advantage, a unique opportunity. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but just look at the object itself. The first page on the top is the Tempest. There are a few pages before that which have gone missing altogether. For example, the first page, if you go to the British Library, there are a few copies of the First Folio, Second Folio and Third Folio. They all start with a portrait of Shakespeare. So that page, that quite iconic page, the first page of the First Folio, went missing. Also, there should be a page that has Ben Jonson's poem which praises Shakespeare's genius. That page has gone missing as well. And various other pages have come loose and basically become pieces of paper standing on its own. So you can see the stands, the little display stands on the sides. Those are the loose pages, and they framed them in glass frames, so you can see the front and the back of the pages. So one of those is basically a marketing blurb saying, if you buy this and have it in your possession, in your library, it'll make you look really good. That kind of thing. And you can see the back of the book, the last page, is part of Cymbeline, and there are quite a few pages, loose pages of Cymbeline framed in those glass frames as well. And the spine of the book is badly damaged. By the looks of it, when the covers were ripped off, they were ripped off really aggressively. The cords that hold everything together got pulled out. One of the conservators described it as you put the shoelace out of your shoe, the eyelets of your shoe kind of action. The cords are pulled out, which means the whole book is now not bind together by anything physical at all apart from the glue on the side. Which means basically if you open the first folio up, the whole book probably will just fall apart. Here you can see the table of contents. The page came loose as well. I read a lot of the critical essays about Troilus and Cressida. That is a really difficult play to place in terms of genre. Is it a comedy? Is it a tragedy? Or what? And a lot of them use First Folio as a argument because Troilus and Cressida, uniquely, the title was inserted in a little gap, and they use it as an argument to say it was added into the First Folio last minute. I was always told that, and this proves it. This is the first time I see with my own eyes. It wasn't even in a uniformed style. They just kind of scribbled in. And the whatever advanced technology, they even found out the ink they used to write Troilus and Cressida on that piece of paper is different to the ink the printer used for the rest of the table of contents. So basically, a lot of research and conservation efforts have gone into it in the last decade. That's why it's been hidden. The conservators have been working really hard on it to try to rescue it, I guess. So they studied the book almost as an object. So they kind of, I feel like they didn't worry about the plays themselves very much. They treated this unique portfolio as a object and studied the physicality of it. Is that the right word? So they scanned the pages, they studied the spine, the glue, everything that's physical about the paper, the ink, because it's already falling apart, right? They might as well make the most of it, which revealed a lot of secrets about the book. There was a bit of doodling by someone from hundreds of years ago, and they found out how books were bound in the 1600s. A lot of it is new, have never been studied before, and this copy gives them the unique opportunity to do that. And it's interesting, there's one little sentence on the display which says the work of the conservation is not just to restore a piece of historical object to its original condition. The work is to preserve the story it tells of its past and what it can tell us in the future. And I find that really interesting. With the technology we have now, the object has yielded up so much information which we had no idea even just a decade ago. How much more it will tell us in future generations if we just leave it be, rather than using 21st century technology to do what we think is the best and maybe erase a lot more evidence that could be useful for the future. I kind of quite agree with their way of thinking. I also love the fact that on the display it says in 3 years' time they will review this decision and they ask the public to give their opinions. What do they think should be done to this copy of the First Folio? I just really love that. The spirit of want to do the right thing, and they really care about it. So I really enjoyed that. And in the same building next door, something else wonderful is happening too. So there's another exhibition called Book Binding. I think it's called Binding the Bard. And it's kind of independent of this First Folio exhibition, but also wonderfully connected because it's a display of a lot of the submission from a book binding competition, and their theme is Shakespeare and I guess the First Folio. So I think basically they initiated this competition. I don't know who they are really. They basically asked everybody to design a cover for Shakespeare's works. So it can be an individual play or all of the sonnets or the whole First Folio. And they asked everybody to design a cover for it. And they're just people's designs, people's ideas. And it's really wonderful to see. I don't know if it's related because Durham's First Folio is missing a cover. I just find that really lovely. So I took some videos for you of the different designs and the top 3 winners. I wonder which one you think is the best. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.